Really, YouTube? Really? Really?
Under the tyranny of 10%. That we're just living, we're willing to live under their tyranny because the rest of us are not actively willing to remove them from being in charge of us. 90% of us are living under the tyranny of 10%. How do we stop that?
We stop being weak. Honestly, we've given them the platform. We've given them the oxygen to do what they do, and we now need to deprive them of it. You talked about Columbine. I'm not gonna go as far back because to me there is a defining moment that brought us to where we are today, and it was 4 days after Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
When Wayne LaPierre went out, and his response to Sandy Hook was, the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. That line had never been said before.
Yeah.
That was the first time. And they have used that line to bring us to the place where we are today. Over the course of those years, they've talked about we can't do anything now to change this because a slippery slope. But the truth is, since that line was uttered, we have been on a slippery slope where gun sales, heck, when Jamie was killed, 300
Gun sales go up because of riots.
million weapons in America. Now, 400 million. We are on a slippery slope, and it's taking the lives of our kids. And so you know what? I say screw you, Ted Cruz and Governor Abbott. You want this fight? I'm done talking to you. I'm done trying to reason with you. You are who you are. You are as low of a human being as can be. We will fire you. And that's what we need to do. I am not buying into the conventional wisdom of the next election.
Look at all those good guys there with guns.
I think if we keep fighting and giving people a reason to vote, we will have presidential year turnout and we will be okay.
Yeah.
But we have to give them a reason to vote, which is why Senator Schumer announcing today that there will be votes on gun safety measures, which 90% of the American people want, is a big deal. Because even if it fails, now the sides are clear.
All they've done in these states, including Florida, including Texas, is make it easier.
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump is going to go to that convention. Is he going to brag about the fact that under his presidential administration, they made it easier for people with mental health, with adjudicated mental health problems to buy a firearm? They made it easier. So they want to lie and say this is about mental health. Well, then why did y'all make it easier for people with mental health issues to buy a gun? That's what you did. They've made it so that you don't even,
Because you want it so that if you're diagnosed with depression, you're not allowed to have a gun anymore. If you ever took depression pills, you're never allowed to own a gun anymore. And you know what happens then? Is people don't tell their doctors when they're depressed because they want to keep their guns. So then you have people who need their medicine and have guns. You create a worse situation. You're creating a bigger danger. These people never understand that they're always creating a bigger danger with their actions.
the person who killed and slaughtered these people in Uvalde and the person who killed your daughter and those beautiful kids in Florida, right? At Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, could not have rented a car because they're not 25. And they won't pass a law, they won't do anything to stop them. They're just making it.
You can't rent a car. Well, I don't think that's fair. You shouldn't be allowed to rent a car. You should be allowed to rent a car when you're 21. That's not, is that a law? Okay, Google. Is there a law stopping you from renting a car when you're 21?
According to J.D. Power, in short, it's not. The 25 to rent rule has long been inactive, though there were many legitimate reasons for its existence. And though you can technically rent a car if you are under age 25, there are reasons you may not want to.
So, more misinformation coming from the fat Reid here.
It easier for them to do it again.
It was one of the first things he did as president, okay, was to loosen the restrictions on those with mental illness buying a gun. But one of the even more treacherous things that he did was during COVID, calling...
Again, the reason I'm talking to the people in chat now, the reason we don't want to take away people's rights from buying guns if they're mentally ill is we want people to seek out mental health. And we don't want to discourage them from any reason, for any reason. If we told people, hey, if you go to your doctor, you're gonna lose your right to vote. It's like, oh, then they would never go to their doctor. Okay, how about this? If you go to your doctor, you'll lose your right to your gun. Well, they're not gonna go to your gun. They're not gonna go to their doctor. And you're gonna accuse the people? Oh, why would they wanna keep their right to? Don't they care more about their health than their right to guns? It's like, well, yeah, then maybe you should cede on that territory.
Gun shops essential businesses because it led to this massive surge and the surge in violence we're seeing now. And so, listen, they did all that. They did. And we have to now live with the consequences of that. But, you know, those who won't say mental health. 2/3 of all gun deaths are suicide. So there is a real fact.
So what do I care then? Who the F cares? Who cares? Who cares? You guys, these lying assholes like this here will say, oh, 30,000 Americans a year die every year to gun death. And then they'll count suicides. Oh, so those people would have just they would have done something else. Doesn't mean anything. As far as I'm concerned, those suicides are avoided murder suicides. Oof. Damn.
After there, we've got to be honest about it and deal with it. However, when it comes to homicide, it's typically the mentally, those with mental health issues, the gun is likely to be used on them. What I would say to this is those who want to talk mental health and not about...
Wait, are you saying are you not saying the shooters have mental health problems? Are you kidding me? These people are often reported to the FBI ahead of times, and nothing is done. Because the FBI loves mass shootings.
About the access to the gun, ask them what their plan is. They don't have one. It's a BS issue for them so that you and I don't talk about this. But
no. That's projection. The real BS issue is they don't want us talking about the 1% who are robbing us, the bankers, man. That's what's really up here. Where did the $40 billion go that they just passed for Ukraine?
Guess what? For the next 7 months, we will be talking about this because unfortunately, Joy, the next shooting is already being planned.
Yeah, it will happen.
The next shoot?
I want to give you an opportunity.
Disavow.
Unfortunately, this is, the mothers of the movement, they call themselves the sorority that they never wanted to join. And you are in a fraternity that you never pledged and didn't want to join. But now that there are so many other members of this tragic, awful fraternity and these tragic, awful sororities of parents who have to do the unnatural, bury their children.
Why you stop smiling all the time? You friggin' creep.
Advice on what happens now? How do they deal with the deluge of
Do you guys see that? Do you guys look at? She can't stop smiling. What an absolute creep. What? This isn't funny. This is grim.
In their face of having to explain, as you do, their tragedy. What are they about to go through?
See, now she can put on her somber fake face, but she couldn't stop it before. She was like laughing at something, at how she's playing us all as suckers.
Focus on your families. Be with those you love. A lot of hugs. Make sure you eat. Make sure you drink. I say that because the truth is, my wife and I have no idea when we ate, how we ate, how my son.
How many kids do you
But
have?
I know people were there making sure we did.
This is why you got to have more than one kid. You need to have 2 kids. Because the odds of both of them going are lower.
And making sure that there was food and resources there for us. This country needs to step up and make sure that community has those resources right now.
Socialism?
People aren't going to be thinking about going
How
to the
about
supermarket.
arming the teachers?
But I would tell those families, right now, your world is spinning. It's about getting through the seconds and the minutes. It's not about looking ahead a month from now, a week from now. Get through today. You have a funeral to plan. You have law enforcement issues to deal with, and you have children who need you, and you will need your children.
Yeah.
And so focus on the now. I will be there for you later.
And I have one last question, because you mentioned your son. Because a lot of people forget that the trauma that the
Got a
parents
backup
are
kid.
experiencing is double, in a sense, for the siblings.
You're right, Tony Tran.
You're missing another part. And it has to be, it has to be explained to you where your sister or brother is, and your parents have to be in this mode of trying to cope and do all of it. And then you're still there
Absolutely.
and needing care. Can you just give some advice on how to care for the children who are still in the home and alive?
Absolutely. And in my son's case, and in so many other cases, my son was there too. Yeah. My son heard the bullets that were killing his sister. And so it is a
What? What? What line is this? What the hell? Hold on.
My son heard the bullets that were killing his sister. And so it is a real issue. People think, gun violence is only about those we bury. No, it's all the collateral damage. It is the kids who have people.
Okay, there's a delay between them, I think. And so she just got what he just said. And you see the liar smile again, as somebody said in chat. She can't stop smirking. It's
PTSD,
disgusting.
The community that is traumatized. And so, listen, it is such a great question. I would just say this. This is a moment where a community comes together and makes sure families are. We have to move forward.
Yeah. Fred Guttenberg, you're a great man. You're brave, and I don't think I can do what you're doing. I really don't. I can barely read through the biographies of these children, so I couldn't do what you do. So thank you.
Oh, if you can't read through them, maybe you shouldn't have this job.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you much more. Up next on the ReidOut. While families in Uvalde, Texas are just beginning to mourn the lives stolen there, the National Rifle Association will start its annual meeting on Friday in Houston, Texas.
What, you think it'd cancel it?
Now, if that sounds ghoulishly familiar, that's because it is.
Littleton, Colorado, the investigation, the tension over this weekend's NRA meeting in Denver, and their growing debate about the place of guns in America.
In 1999, the NRA meeting was scheduled to be held in Denver, just 10 days after the massacre at Colorado's Columbine High School. At the time, the
dude, what these coincidence, man. These coincidences. Oh, I don't know anything about the Littleton thing, but man, these coincidences.
Worst school shooting in American history. The gathering sparked protests as the scaled-back event was held 11 days after the carnage, despite opposition from local leaders. The NRA's then president, Charlton Heston, tried to...
They're always protesting in Denver.
When an isolated, terrible event occurs, our phones ring, demanding that the NRA explain the inexplicable. Why us? Because their story needs a villain.
Last fall, NPR got insight into the organization's decision-making at the time over whether to go forward.
Good for him.
In recordings of discussions among top NRA brass obtained by reporter Tim Mack, they at one point considered a more sympathetic posture, even considered a $1 million fund to care for the victims.
No, because then it makes it seem like you're at fault.
Conversation.
No. That's not fair. If people start talking about you, like, oh, can you, this certain organization is responsible for it. This is ridiculous. Good thing they didn't donate.
Meeting insurance.
I just screw the insurance. The message that it will send is that even the NRA was brought to its knees, and the media will have a field day with it.
Ah, yes, Marion Hammer, the real governor of Florida. You should note that NBC News doesn't know what may have been left out of these recordings. But the NRA is once again holding court near the site of a slaughter made possible by
the slaughter of children in their prime, bleeding out in schools.
Lining up to bend the knee. Donald Trump, of course,
they are genuflecting to the gun god.
Senator Ted Cruz, Governor Greg
2A.
Governor Dan Patrick are scheduled. John Cornyn apparently got cold feet. I doubt it was a conscience. At a press conference featuring the trio, Abbott's Democratic opponent, Beto O'Rourke, was having none of their platitudes and feigned compassion.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Sit down.
You're out of line and an embarrassment.
Sit down and don't play this stuff.
Next shooting is right now, and you are doing nothing.
They add subtitles to Roar because you have no idea you know what he's saying otherwise.
Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Please leave this auditorium.
I'm standing on the graves of dead kids. That's what he just said.
It would come to a deal like this to make a political issue.
Sorry, I hit the mic.
Let's bring in NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky in Uvalde, Texas. And Morgan, you spoke with Beto after all of that contretemps. What did he say, and what's been the reaction?
I don't care at all.
Let's talk about what happened in Florida. Heck, let's talk about what happened in Tucson, because there are still people who tell me it's too soon. Don't politicize.
So, which, by the way, back up here.
The Republicans in
NRA's response to mass shootings. This is not time for political discussions. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Sandy Hook. That's that great one.
Texas.
Evil walks among us.
They're all using those talking points in their response to the Uvalde massacre. Let's take a look.
We know from past experience that the most effective tool for keeping kids safe is armed law enforcement on the campus. Inevitably when there's...
Oh, man, can you believe he wants schools to have police at them? Oh, that's so terrible.
A murder of this kind, you see politicians try to politicize it.
Evil will always walk among us.
We will continue to discuss with legislators.
I mean, the Democrats never have any counterpoints to these things. What are the counterpoints? I mean, these are three good counterpoints, man. Three good points they make.
Potential avenues and pathways that we
Evil always walks among us, which is true.
Schools will be even safer going forward.
Check.
Only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. That's true. That's fucking true. It's true.
By other politicians saying don't politicize this and then using their talking points.
Yeah, well, the reason they don't want to talk about the politics is because they know it's bad politics, right? They know that the majority of Americans,
support their Second Amendment right to defend themselves,
including gun owners, are for things like universal background check,
which is what we have already. So it's like, hey, listen, everybody's for the First Amendment. What's the controversy then?
They know that people have had
You keep they keep on acting like we don't have universal background checks when we do.
Enough of these shootings, and so of course they want to kick
this guy passed his universal background check.
Like Beto, which by the way, a huge thank you to Beto on that work. That's
Beto,
what we need from our leaders. And the NRA has been spewing the same talking points. You know, I've been in this fight for 10 years since the Sandy Hook shooting.
This guy's
happened.
racist.
And we hear the same thing time and time again from this organization. And you know, my message to gun owners too is the NRA doesn't care about everyday gun owners. They care about everyday gun manufacturers. They're here to ensure that this industry makes money despite our children's lives being at risk. And so we have to continue to fight. And you know what we tell people,
well, no, we should care about gun owners because they're the consumer and the seller, the manufacturer. You need to have both. If you can't have one, then you can't have the other. So these people realize we can't go after people's ownership of guns. It's a constitutional right. So we'll just go after the gun manufacturers instead.
We saw those stickers that came out years ago on the ID that says, if I die from gun violence, politicize my death so it never happens again. And my generation, Generation Z, we were born into drills, shooting drills, and we understand that this problem has to
if I die from whatever thing, I want that politicized. Yeah, of course. But it's too late. You're dead.
stop. And now is the time to talk about the politics and to talk about the solutions.
Absolutely.
God.
Daniel Hernandez.
Well, yeah, just not solution that involve giving people more freedom. You don't want those solutions. No, God forbid we gave more rights back to the people.
To talk about the solutions.
Absolutely. And Daniel Hernandez, you have a connection to one of these shootings that nearly killed Gabby Gifford. Her husband, Mark Kelly, is now a United States Senator. He's been one of the more sensible, he's the more sensible senator from Arizona. But the other talking point, and the other thing that it does seem that the NRA and their friends do, is they try to demonize a group that's already pretty demonized, and that's people who suffer from mental health issues. And they try to put it all on on mental illness, even though there are mentally ill people all over the planet, and we're the only country that has the mass shootings. I want to give you an interesting contradiction from Greg Abbott when he tried.
Maybe we should arm our schools.
Because something he said at the top of his thing
I'm going to keep saying it again and
contradicted
again.
that. Take a look.
There was no known mental health history of the gunman. We have a problem with mental health illness in this community.
Daniel
Well, maybe we should do something about that.
Hernandez, how can both of those two things be true?
They can't, and that's the thing.
Hold on, I need to rewind it.
Abbott when he tried that game today, because something he said at the top of his thing contradicted that. Take a look.
There was no known mental health history of the gunman. We have a problem with mental health illness in this community.
Yeah, okay. So this guy had no known mental health. Okay. So that sounds like that wouldn't have helped. But definitionally, if you commit a school shooting, there's something wrong with you. You have a mental health problem. Ergo facto, I don't know if that's the right one or not. It's de facto mental health problem when you shoot up a school. Okay? You're not mentally well when you do that. No sane person shoots up a school. He had no known history, I think is what he said.
We have a problem with known mental health.
Did that. Take a look.
He had no known. Obviously, he had mental health problems. If he had known mental health problems, it wouldn't. He still would have got the gun, technically, I think.
Mental health history.
But this doesn't make her point at all. This lady's an idiot. She thinks you're an idiot, too.
Daniel Hernandez, how can both of those two things be true?
They can't, and that's the thing. Republicans have been using this tired playbook for the last 11 years.
Oh, you're right,
I
Tran.
was a 20-year-old intern, and I had to literally hold my boss's head.
I actually am going to start bringing it up again.
Republicans do this thing where
They like to blame school shootings like, Republicans' rhetoric on replacement theory is driving mass shootings. And it's like, oh yeah, what about when you guys said repealing healthcare, Obamacare, would cause people to die? Taking away their healthcare would cause people to die. And that caused somebody to shoot up a Republican baseball game, and Steve Scalise got hit multiple times with bullets. So, F y'all. That was a Bernie supporter, I think.
They say, one, don't politicize. We need to...
That's a whataboutism right there.
And then the step two is, let's create a smoke screen and draw attention away from the real problem, which is the Washington gun lobby. Because what they're essentially going to try and do is run out the clock.
Yeah.
So if it's not the time to talk about what's happening in Texas, let's talk about what happened in New York. Let's talk about what happened in Florida. Heck, let's talk about what happened in Tucson, because there are still people who tell me it's too soon. Don't politicize this. So it's this tired old playbook, and they talk themselves in circles, and no one is brave enough to call them out. That's why
we're politicizing it. Yes. Why does she have cancer on her breast? Cover that up.
Since the Gifford shooting, since Sandy Hook, years since what happened in Florida, we need our politicians to stop kowtowing.
Right here. See her cancer?
Actually start doing things. That's why we need more gun violence survivors in Congress, like Lucy McBath. We
need more gun violence survivors!
Because we need these voices in Congress, because unfortunately it sounds like we're going to...
It doesn't effing matter. It doesn't matter if you experience gun violence or not to vote. It's a representative. It's a representative democracy.
You know, Maxwell, that people think there's nothing they can do. And so
you don't actually have to have the same person up there who does the...
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, and look, I live in a state in Florida, where our governor wants the future to be a place where you're forced to give birth. That child goes to school where they can't learn about real history. They have constant
Real history is white people. I can't even say what it is because it's so racist.
Drills until one day maybe that drill isn't a drill. Right? And that's the future that they're trying to build. Yeah. We cannot let ourselves become desensitized to this violence. It is not normal. And we can't forget that we lose 100 people a day due to gun violence. And even though we have these shootings,
most of those are suicides.
Y'all, I want everyone to recognize that behind every number, there is a person.
There's a human being.
And we can't forget that.
Last word to you, Daniel Hernandez. Is Kirsten Sinema, do you believe that she is serving the people of Arizona with her refusal to do anything on this issue?
Wow.
I think the biggest thing right now is we need politicians to stand up to the Washington gun lobby. When we're talking about corporate influence, there is no greater corporate influence than the Washington gun lobby. So we right now elect people who will be...
How about
violence prevention?
The right to keep and bear arms is the biggest lobby.
Different states like Governor Abbott, like Governor DeSantis, like Governor Ducey here in Arizona. We need people to stand up and elect more gun violence prevention champion like us, because we need real strong voices that are not going to be desensitized, because we can't be desensitized to the violence.
You have a donkey on your wall.
Wishing you both well.
You're a donkey.
You're already a good politician.
You have a donkey on your wall, therefore you're a donkey.
Thank you both. By now that the Republican Party will never waver when it comes to their utter and supine devotion to the gun lobby.
Supine devotion to the gun lobby. It's not to the Second Amendment, guys. It's to the gun lobby.
It should also come as no surprise that the vast majority of them line their pockets with money from the NRA while actively ignoring the majority of Americans, licensed gun owners included, who want them to do something, anything, to help protect American families and children from the scourge of gun violence.
What about arming teachers? That's anything, right?
Talk about
not that. Anything but that.
Students and teachers mask up to avoid a pandemic, and they'll just rush out of law claiming to protect the kids. So fast your head will spin. Ask them to keep your kids safe from guns, and you get crickets. Well, yesterday, Senate Majority Leader Chuck
Arm the teachers.
Schumer decided to put their apathy in the face of carnage to the test. Hours after the devastating shooting in Texas, Schumer took steps to force...
How about replace all teachers with ex-cops? Only cops can be allowed to be teachers from now on. They have to carry in the classroom. How funny would that be? How funny would that be? Just have cops teaching at that point. Let's have the military teach. Military teachers in the classroom. Our military is already wonky enough. They could do it.
Force votes in the coming days on legislation that would strengthen background checks. Now, don't get too excited. The last time they tried this, Democrats couldn't find 10 Republicans with a spine to support that kind of
With
legislation.
a spine. If you don't want to
Nuke the filibuster. Enter Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, who refused to get rid of it. Why not now? Even with all these innocent victims.
It's so amazing. If you don't agree with us, you don't have a spine. Look at this bullying coming from this lady. This lady's an utter bully. What an evil demon she is.
Well, the senior senator from Arizona told reporters, quote, I don't think that D.C. solutions are realistic here. Well, what in the name of God is she talking about? It's her actual job to work in Washington, D.C. and deliver D.C. solutions to the people. Mark Kelly, her fellow Arizona senator, whose wife Gabby Giffords was shot in the head and survived, had a more succinct and astute take.
Well, like I said, it's nuts to do nothing about this.
And you know what? He's right. But the real question is, what
Never let a good tragedy go to waste.
with their perpetual inaction?
That was his next words.
Fed up enough to do what it takes to finally fire these people? Have you had enough yet? Join me now. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse.
Fire people, you didn't vote for them. You can't fire people you didn't vote for. You idiot.
Thank you. There's been failure after failure after failure. We can just put it up on the screen after Columbine, after Sandy Hook, after, San Bernardino.
Hey, we're all a bunch of Democrats. We voted. We've never been voting Republicans for the last 10 years. It's time for us to stop voting Republican. It's like, wait, who are you talking to? You think there's Republicans who watch you? This is like a Democrat channel. Your audience is all Democrat.
After Orlando, the Senate has tried. They're not going to be able to do it. So then, what does this vote mean? And then what happens?
Well, what this vote means is that people are on record, and
we will bully you with this record. It's accountability.
But at the end of the day, the reason Republicans are willing to be put on record,
Democrat from Rhode Island. Yeah, this guy's never going to lose his job.
Against sensible gun laws that will protect children from being massacred.
This guy's a bitch.
Is because of the power of the NRA. And at some point,
it's not the NRA. It's called the Second Amendment.
The NRA and dark money, huge anonymous donations, including some stuff that smells a little.
Please click that like button. It really helps this live stream. I'm a new guy. My last channel was deleted unfairly.
NRA. They've taken in $100 million in dark money in the last decade, and a lot of it goes right out into Republican elective contests. So Republicans are loyal for that money. They will just come straight to heel.
Well, it's more like they already were voting that way, so why not just get some of that money?
And
don't act like you don't do the same thing.
And we can have these continued moments of.
All right, I think we've had enough of this of the two racists here. All right, if you guys like this type of content, please like, down below, subscribe, share for friends. Radically moderate. All right, we got some more. Dude, my internet went down in the middle of this fucking live stream. I hate Linksys. This fucking router's a piece of shit. Can we talk about Ted Cruz being a dumbass? Our boy Ted Cruz here says he voted for $40 billion Ukraine military aid package to reduce the price of gas. What a crock of crap if I've ever heard anything in my life. The GOP sellouts who voted last week to give an additional $40 billion to military aid and economic Ukraine are being pressured to answer to their constituents for their outrageous actions. Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cuck, sent out a statement on Sunday on Twitter claiming he did it to vote for lower price gases. Putin is trying to seize control of energy. If he's successful, it'll be felt by Americans filling up their cars with gas, trying to heat their homes this winter. If Putin wins, oh my God, what an ass. If Putin wins in Ukraine, it'll confirm for Xi that he can confidently invade Taiwan, seizing control of global supply of semiconductors. Yeah, that's a problem. You better start making semiconductors at home. The results would be catastrophic for the U.S. supply chains and the price of each and every product Americans purchase. The reason we support our Ukrainian allies is because it protects national security. Yes. No. This is a proxy war between us and Russia right now. Stop fighting it. I don't want to go in a war with Russia. Let them have whatever territory they have so far. Just peace it out. Peace with them. Yeah, Ted Cruz, DC loyalist, fake Texan. Oh, snap. Ted Cruz chose to support Klinsky and the puppet Zelensky over America. Yeah. Me and my Goldman Sachs director wife want war. War makes you safer. War makes energy cheaper and more available. Dude, the CIA is messing with me right now. For real. Let's look at the price of gas right now. It's so cheap. Remember how much richer and safer Vietnam made us all? Iraq, Afghanistan? You sure did take the fake Rhino Swamp POS. Both parties serve the enemy that did USS Liberty, ISIS, 9/11, and Epstein ops. Not US. Nuke. Woo! That's a spicy take right there. I wrote to my worthless Rhino congressman and told him I will not vote for him after he voted for the aid package to the dictatorship. I don't vote Democrat or Rhino. Ted is supposed to be smart, so he must be lying. I never trusted Ted Cruz because him and his Goldman Sachs wife are bushies. Remember how he was openly stealing? He was stealing openly Trump's delegates in the primary in 2016. Another Rhino. Yep. I mean, Putin trying to seize control of energy. F you, hecking hell. When a Rhino reveals himself, all Americans win. So now you know. Vote accordingly. Ted Cruz announced. Oh, God, what an ass. If you guys like this type of content, leave a like down below, subscribe. Fucking Ted Cruz. Fucking piece of shit. Do I have any more articles to read? You guys like Mia Khalifa? This is from Bustle Magazine. Please respect Mia's rebrand on TikTok. The woman briefly known as Pornhub's #1 performer is amassing a new supportive, more female fan base. Creeps and jerks will be blocked. Yeah, we're the creep. We're the jerk. You're not the creepy lady here. Wow. Where is this text? I'm missing some text. Convinced Khalifa, who suggested on the spot and drove 3 hours in traffic for her new home in the suburbs to get there. The home won her over Florida. What? All these peacocks over in the neighborhood, they wander into her yard. 6 years ago, she left Miami Miami and swore she'd never come back. It's a city where she started her career and where, for a time, her career started to ruin her life. 2014, fresh out of college, she moved to Miami, and then her partner took a job there. She got a job there too at Fuddruckers, and her priority was getting implants. Consider her weight loss and lacings after self-conscious about her boobs. She saved up, got augmentation, strategized for an augmentation throughout college. She reasoned Beverly Hills was too expensive, even for a short-term stay, but Miami, the right compromise, and the caliber of surgeons. She was born in Lebanon, grew up in D.C., and went to El Paso University because it accepted college-level graduates here in high school, which allowed her to graduate soon. Okay. Let's see what we got here. One afternoon, about a month after the post-op, she was approached by a man on the street about nude modeling. And a few weeks after considering the offer, she went for it. Her stage name then, Mia, rapper Cleo. Oh, yep. Let's see. In what may be one of the worst showbiz predictions of all time, she was told to pick something else because it was, and I quote, sounds slutty and people won't be able to spell it. But millions and billions of people have the problem. The production company she worked for, Bang Bros, had fewer qualms about leveraging her proximity to Middle Eastern when she proposed to wear hijab for one of her scenes. Presented with the idea, Khalifa, who was raised Catholic, told them, "You motherfuckers want to get me killed." That's hilarious, if that's true. There it is, guys. Raised Catholic, but she pretends to be Muslim for the porn scenes. Damn. The adult industry is no stranger to media stunts and irreverence, but the exposure video earned her arguably still is unprecedented. In less than 2 months, their clips have 1.5 million views. #1 ranked performer. Industry newbie. Yep. Well, also, Pornhub was coming out then, too. That was a new thing. The Washington Post said, there are Hollywood movies that depict Muslims in a much worse manner than any scene Bang Bros could produce. Oh. So Washington Post defended the porn lobby. That didn't surprise me. Instead, they just wanted to dunk on Hollywood, it seems. They're just... Hollywood movies aren't the problem. American foreign policy is the problem. Sats. She quit filming during the peak of the media storm, having worked for the industry for a matter of months. But still, her notoriety mounted. Attempts to take cover in conventional jobs like bookkeeping and paralegal were doomed. Though she cut and dyed her hair, dark hair, whatever, they'd see her scenes. Let's see. I was made to feel so ashamed about getting recognized in public when I was with someone who wasn't in the public eye. Today, her circumstances are very different. Now 29. She's approached by reference staff, and her fame has grown exponentially. Any diners who recognize her keep it to themselves. Her new Instagram account has 28 million followers. That means 1 in 10 Americans, pretty much. 1 in 11. She alone controls her social media, and she works safe but for spicy. $12 a month OnlyFans. Says she still does it. So what's her rebrand? If she still does OnlyFans, she still does porn, what's the rebrand? There's no rebrand here. She's just a porn star. She now posts about everything from disordered eating to dissociative trauma, and she's found millions of empathize when she does. Authenticity, the main currency of social media. Khalifa has found more... Are we really doing this? Are we really doing this? The change wore on Khalifa, whose natural disposition seems to be at epitome of good vibes only. On one occasion, while guesting on sports radio show, Khalifa says she blew up live on air when she was introduced as a porn star, not even as a former porn star, she adds. Lady, you can't control the titles people put on you. This is stupid. You are a porn star. You're still the #1 porn star on like Pornhub. You can't take down what you did. This is the lesson of like how the internet is forever, no matter how much you try to rebrand yourself. In fact, it was women on TikTok who inspired Khalifa to start an OnlyFans account in 20. Oh, she's going back into porn. Oh, it was the girls told me to do porn. Oh, it wasn't my idea. These ladies, the lies they weave themselves and tell themselves. According to Lee, who still travels with Khalifa to Airbnbs to help each other produce content with their respective OnlyFans, the ability to shoot and distribute their own images and videos has been profound. For one thing, they're free from pressure of sleazy photographers and the anxiety knowing that somewhere on a hard drive all the awkward and possibly revealing in-between poses shots. Even equally important, she says, is how much fun they have. People fall in love with a character. Mia wouldn't be Mia without her personality. She's so outspoken and funny. She went out to an OnlyFans shoot. Someone else was dictating, and none of that personality would come out. What Khalifa posts on OnlyFans is titillating without being explicit, lewd without being nude. And she says she'll block someone even if they say anything that's annoying and tell them to shut up if they complain. She's the one who reads and replies to DMs because third-party companies she's tried out have been unable to replicate her take no shit style lapse. The ability to enforce these boundaries is still new for Khalifa, who's faced enough harassment for multiple lifetimes. Over the years, I have seen a shift from very unpleasant encounters, sometimes violent, sometimes terrifying, to the point where I stopped leaving the house for a really long time, she says. And now it's girls who come up to me and tell me they love my TikToks, or girls in general. Let me tell you, all the guys love your work too. I'm going to speak for all the guys. We all love your work. There's not a lot had to be said. The repercussion of this change has been transformative. My anxiety was very bad. My depression, my anxiety, were her eyes dropped as she remembers. A very bad combination. That's why I'm thankful for TikTok. I thank you, CCP. It has given me a bridge to that female audience I never had a connection to. At my request, Khalifa takes a moment to outline the advice she would give to her 19-year-old self. Run, run, run from that relationship you're in. Number 1, go back to home. 2, 3, we don't wear those rompers every day. Oh my God. Last year, she fell in love with Cortez, who was a leap forward for her. All right. The two met in the summer when she appeared in a video for his song with Skrillex, En Mi Corto. In their exchange, they've advanced in the shoot to extremely cordial, professional, but in person, she says, we both felt very and heavy, undeniable chemistry. He made plans to see her. In December, they ate chocolate mushrooms and went to Universal Studios. I don't know what that means. She has been a Harry Potter fan all her life. And she pulls out her phone, recording a ghost striding ahead of her, his black robe trailing the please a picture of it. Oh, it's coming to her, these moments. What if? Are they going to marry? I doubt it. Leave your comments down below. There we go. Sorry, Khalifa. Do I have any articles here I can pull up? Actually, I think I'm going to end this live stream now. I am getting kind of tired. If you guys seriously like this type of content, I need you to share it, like it, subscribe, tell a friend. The algorithm, they hate me. They banned my last account. So I'm trying to build it up from the bottom, even after all the the authoritative content algorithms. So help a brother out, please. Thank you guys for joining me. It's been a pleasure. See, I'm going to try to do this more often, I promise. I have 3 viewers and only 2 likes. You guys can do better than this. Come on. Do better. Wait till I start demanding money. I'm joking. All right, you guys, take care. Have a good night.